about his work. You're spending all this time
Something I didn't want to talk about it. I'm not criticizing.
Sounds like criticism
let's
to
be
me.
clear,
She just
Anna.
asked a
Well, then you got to open your ears. What I'm saying is trying to give her.
Whoa, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad he told her that. That's what I mean. This is why I like this guy. Okay, he's not taking that ish. Okay.
Neck and neck race between the candidate and the conspiracy theorist is former New Jersey governor and ABC News political contributor Christie.
All right, guys. So, again, thank you for watching. Okay, I just want to come right out and say it. Because I'm really trying to find a direction for this channel, but I'm not going to stop trying to find a direction for this channel. So we are going to kick it. We're going to go back to The View. And look, listen, it is the election season, and like this, it's good to look at things. And we're going to look at the philosophy for this channel is the inconvenient truth, but it's also looking at life through a lens of mental health, of of even our identities, right? Our actual personalities, not that gender, biological sex thing. I don't do that. But so we have The View getting ready to cope, and Christie gets real gangster on The View. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Welcome back. So, Chris, before we get into anything else, I want to know if you have anything to say about our conversation. Do you want to weigh in on it?
Well, I thought the screw you thing was great Jersey way to end the segment.
Well,
that was
Brooklyn.
really good.
That's Brooklyn.
We're going to adopt her for that one. No, look, I do think that the coverage that you were talking about, I think the reason for it is he's numbed us.
He's numbed us.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 9 years of relentless lowering and lowering of the bar, and after a while, everybody becomes numb, and most particularly the people who spend a lot of their lives on this. A lot of the American people kind of dodge in and out of political conversation, but for people like all of you sitting around this table, like me, who do this for a living, you've been relentlessly hit with his language for all that
have
time.
At least fact checked along the way, because all of these lies have accumulated since he came down on that escalator.
Look, as a matter of ethics, yes, but I will say that the fact checking that goes on at times helps him, because for those people who feel aggrieved, they feel like, oh well, they're just picking on him.
Y'all are probably wondering why I'm smiling. Okay, this is horrible. I love Christie. I do. I have a warm place in my heart for Chris. You know why? Because Christie is to me, he is a gangster. Like, seriously, not in a demeaning way. I'm not trying to minimize any of his successes in life, right? But this guy I can see it. He works the table, like he works people. These girls think he's on their side. They think that he's going to vote for Kamala. And I can guarantee you that all this trash talking he's doing about Trump, Christie is not voting for Kamala. Today's election day, but I wanted to look at this with you guys. Christie's not voting for Kamala Harris, okay? Like, he's not. Sure, he already put in Trump, but all right, let's go ahead.
And I think the last thing we need to do in these last 10 days is to make him more of a martyr than he is already. And so,
By not fact-checking him? His supporters.
But I mean, I think that at this point, the people who know that he's a liar, they've already made up their minds. They've made up their minds of where they're going to vote. The people who don't believe or actually do believe everything that he says, you're not going to change their minds either.
What about those undecideds?
Those undecideds, I really don't believe the undecideds are making the decision on Donald Trump.
There's people, Chris, who have Trump amnesia, that have forgotten, because for 4 years we've had a decent man and a decent woman as his vice president in the White House.
Okay, so let me show you what mental gymnastics is. Okay, and he's doing it too. He said he's a liar. He's a liar. Trump says things and doesn't finish his sentences. That doesn't make him a liar. There's certain things that he's talked about. And I want to be clear when I say it doesn't make a liar. Like, everybody tells a lie. So I'm not over here doing this weird Trump derangement type of like he's never lied. Like, no, it's not. This isn't the cherry tree or whatever. George Washington, right? But this is to say that all he does is lie. No. You guys hope that, like, with the court cases that we don't hear about anymore. Anyway, he was telling the truth. Like, he's president. He took classified stuff. So did Biden. This is what they do. This is what's always been done. There's no ceremony to declassify documents. What is it exactly that he's lying about? What? Oh, 2020? Guys, I live in Pennsylvania, and let me tell you, it was a show, okay? It was a storm. It was a mess. So just because you say that he's lying, you choose not to look at the information. So now I can't take you serious. It's subjectivity. And then you sit there and you say, people forgot and they got Trump amnesia because we had 4 years of a great man. Everything was great. Like it didn't. Now that is what actually makes me want to come through the screen and be like, are you out of your mind? Like the American people, I'm not going to take away agency from the American people, but groceries alone, you know, at one point I remember when Whoopi was like, just guff up and pay the price. These people, they are something else with it. They really are.
Who don't talk this way, who don't say these things. And I think that some people have forgotten. To me, it's important to remind them because for some people, it does matter.
I just don't think those people are going to vote, Anna.
What about
If they
first-time
have that
voters,
kind
young
of
people?
amnesia, they're not going to vote. And for the first-time
I
voters,
would have liked to forget him.
Yeah, I think that what's going on here is it's all up to Vice President Harris.
Mm-hmm.
The people who have, at this point, 10 days out, not already decided they're voting for Trump, they're not voting for Trump.
Yeah.
They're either voting for Harris or they're not voting.
Well, that
And so for me, that's why I think that what the vice president's doing now should be focused exclusively on closing the deal about why she would be the best president. Saying that, you know, Donald Trump is awful and a fascist and all the rest of that, I don't disagree with any of it.
Yeah.
But those people already sold.
So you
if
don't
you
think-
believe that, they're sold. It's done.
I don't disagree with that. Again, so this is what compartmentalizing looks like. You know, the subjectivity. I don't disagree with that. You know what that means is he doesn't think Trump is a fascist. What that means is I just choose not to disagree with that. Okay, but he's not lying. I don't disagree with that because I don't waste my time to disagree with that. That's the other part of it, right? Like, because that Trump fascist thing, my God, I can't wait for that to go away. I seriously can't, okay? Guys, all right? Nothing happened in that first 4 years with Trump, okay? All right.
So who do you think is going to win? Who's going to win?
Look, 10 days ago, I would have told you that she's going to win.
And now?
And I think she's had a bad 10 days.
Why?
Because I don't think there's advantage and disadvantage to having come in the race as late as she did. The advantage is she didn't have to go through all the primaries and go through all of that goes on that wears you down a bit. But the disadvantage is people don't know her. I mean, yes, look.
She's been the vice president for almost 4 years.
You know,
How could they not
Sonny,
know
you
her?
know the old joke. A woman had two sons.
Yes.
One went to sea, the other became vice president of the United States. Neither were ever heard from again. I mean, the job of the vice president is to stand 3 steps behind the president, out of focus.
Well,
they didn't know.
Then why did they keep accusing her of not doing anything when she was vice president? What did Mike Pence do, I'd like to know?
Mike Pence was out there. I remember during Cove, he was out there. Mike Pence, before he was bought and paid for, was a true conservative. You know, now everybody's getting that plastic money. So, like, let's not act like, you know what I mean? Like, because even my best friend, right? Not even, right? My best friend, she keeps up with the politics through me, but and she's aware, you know, she's not dumb, right? But she doesn't, you know, like, I mean, obviously, like, I have channels and stuff, right? But she says, before they crowned Kamala as the nominee, she says, where's Kamala? I'd never see her. Even Pence I used to see all the time. Okay? All right. Like these mental gymnastics that these women do are insane. And it's so subjective. It really is. And then they're going to vote.
Nothing. Like, look. But see, I think that's part of. I think that's part of the problem too with the vice president. I think one of the things that she needs to say when they're blaming her for certain things that were the president's decision.
Right.
I had a lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, most of the time I didn't ask her, like, are you think I'm right on this or not? I mean, she gave her input. I made a decision.
Yeah, I mean, well, but Bridgegate, you know. If y'all know, Bridgegate, this guy gave orders to shut down a bridge to cause a traffic jam for a mayor that he didn't like, okay? That's the story. And then he fired the people who listened to his orders. And I know y'all are like, and this is the guy you like. You know why? Christie does have balls. He does have, like, he has a way about him. The problem is, though, he is a war hawk, too. But he has gumption. He has that commanding force. He does have it. But, obviously he did something bad or whatever. But it's just funny that he just says, and if you bring up Bridgegate to him, he gets really mad, like really, really mad.
It's my decision, not hers.
Right, yep.
So I think Vice President Harris should say, and she didn't say it here. I watched you guys that day. When you asked her, what would you do different than Biden? She didn't say it. I gotta believe there are things she disagreed with him on. You're human beings. You're gonna have.
Well, they've had
she's a bright woman with a mind of her own.
Yeah.
She's clearly gonna have times where she looked at President Biden and said,
They've
I
had a
wouldn't do
successful
that. Say
administration,
it.
though, and she's not going to throw him under the bus. But
There's
I
a
want to
difference,
ask
though,
you,
Sonny, between throwing somebody under the bus and saying,
And
I had an honest
differentiating.
disagreement with him on X, whatever it is. Because you can have an honest
could've
disagreement with
invested
someone
more
you have
time in
enormous
this.
respect for.
Why not?
Big
Why
deal.
not just say
Compared
something?
to the other side, that's nothing.
But the point is, you've got these undecided voters,
Yeah.
right? I don't count you as one of them. You have these undecided voters, right?
I hope you're not one of the undecided
No, look,
voters.
these undecided voters have to make their decision, and it's not going to be on whether they hate Trump enough. It's going to be, if they're undecided, that means they don't want Trump. They've known him for 9 years. So they're trying to decide, can I count on her
So
or
you're
not?
saying they're leaning towards Kamala.
Let me
I think by definition, they're open to
Yeah.
her. She's got to close the deal. And that's why I think even now, 10 days out, it's too early to say someone or the other is going to
Listen,
win.
there's a lot of the-
Those late breakers are
Let me ask
usually
you
the
about
ones that
strategy,
go
though.
to
Let me
the
ask you about
challenger.
strategy because
Yeah.
she was in Georgia last night. She's got to win Georgia, right? We saw President Obama on stage with the vice
I
president.
just want to move on from that because, it's like, okay, yeah, she was in Georgia, this, that, and the third, and President Obama. Nobody cares about Obama anymore. These young kids don't know they're hoping to change things, just so you know. But what he said was right. But anyway, today is election day, just so you know that this is when I am taping this, right? And what has she done? She had a chance to go on Joe Rogan, and she didn't go. So, but people she just had a conversation with her and just seen her in a more calm and just chilled out manner. And I don't understand why she couldn't go to that. She was with Howard Stern. I mean, it was a boring interview. I had to clip it. It was boring, but she could have went to Joe Rogan. But these people, they don't want to show you what's really going on. So, people like her, they aren't going to go. She's fully establishment candidate. I mean, she was crowned, so she can't talk about everything, right?
Is to say now, what is her presidency really going to be?
She has 80
And the other
pages
night on CNN.
on a website.
Look, and yes, but most people aren't going to go and look at that, Sonny. You know that.
I looked at
it's
it.
going to be, well, you're not most people.
We're doing here what Charlemagne the God was talking about yesterday. We are holding her to this high standard of her closing message needs to be this and this and this and that. His closing message is Arnold Palmer's package. Right.
Yeah.
Dancing for 39 minutes like a
was
wacko
generals.
job.
It was generals.
And that's-
Making fries and McDonald's. So why don't you tell him something? Why don't we talk about his closing message? What do you think about that?
What I think about that is that he is who he's always been, and he's not going to gain any voters in these last 10 days.
That's the point. I mean,
But
that
the-
you don't want to talk about his. You're spending all this time
It's not that I don't want to talk
criticizing
about it.
Kamala.
I'm not criticizing.
Sounds like criticism
Let's
to
be
me.
clear,
She
Anna.
asked a
Well, then you
question.
got to open your ears. What I'm saying is trying to give her.
Whoa, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad he told her that. That's what I mean. This is why I like this guy. Okay, he's not taking that ish. Okay, you're criticizing. You see how too emotional. He's right. People do not know Kamala Harris. They know Trump. Kamala really did have an opportunity. She did. She blew it out of the water because there are a lot of undecided voters for Trump. Kamala could have won. If voting goes the way it's supposed to, she could have won. Because there are a lot of undecided voters who didn't want to vote for Trump, but would have been open had she said the right things, at least tried to say the right things. They asked you, how are you different from Joe Biden or whatever? Would you do it? No, I can't think of anything that I would do differently. So now you have these people who are sitting in the middle who are like, look, I'm not really feeling Trump, but I need something different because this ain't it with the economy. They keep telling me the economy is good, but my pockets are not as fat as they used to be. And so then now she had the chance to say, this is what I would have did different. And I learned a lot from Joe Biden, and then I can add my own something. Like he said, this one says it's criticism. You're too emotional. That's why he told you, make your brain work. That's really
Suggestions on how I think she can close the deal.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
that is the difference. And if you can't handle it,
It's
and if you can't handle it, then just don't talk about, oh, you're doing criticism and you're doing, like, we don't need that. We don't.